Kiwis love a thirst. Like Finn, we're making waves. Generate. Switch online today.
Theo Shakes, welcome to my podcast.
Thank you for having me. This is exciting.
Mate, it's exciting for me. By the way, can I just say I've done 220 podcasts and I think you've got the coolest name out of anyone I love it. It's just like it's a celebrity name. It's like you were born with the celebrity name.
It's kind of buzzy. Yeah, my voice teacher at drama school was like, bro, that name, man, kia ora. That's what he'd do. For real. He was pretty obsessed with it too.
What sort of nicknames did you have growing up or at school?
Oh, true. Yeah, I had Thee. That's what like a lot of my fam calls me. And I think that's it, like Thee. Sometimes in football training, I'd get Shakesy, Shakesy. Yeah. There was a Scottish teacher who was pretty, come on, Shakesy. Yeah, but...
How old were you when the Metro Station song, Shake It, came out?
Oh my gosh, my family were obsessed. They literally said, this is our song. Every time it came on the radio, hey, they're like, this is our song. God, that would have been like 2009 or something, right? So I was 8.
Right,
8,
right. So too young to sort of appreciate it all. Yeah.
Shake, shake.
Shake, shake, shake it.
Yeah.
Imagine that playing when you walk into a room.
Yeah.
At least in your own head. Yeah. So Theo Shakes, massive TikTok celebrity, 200 million likes. By the way, how active, how into it are you? Like keeping up with the
only
numbers?
way I know that is because Mum told me. She's
I think yesterday was the day.
Yeah, she was like, you hit 200 million. I was like, oh, true. Yes, I did. Okay. I know another creator who knows it down to the what. He's like, you're third in the country right now. I'm like, okay, true. So, I don't know. I do like watch everything back. I feel like you've keep an eye on what's working and what's not. But I also try not to be too obsessed because, then you'll just be about numbers,
Yeah, and I suppose after a while you can get comfortable enough that you don't have to like obsess about it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it comes in peaks and troughs, this whole game. So it's like, you'll have a good day, you'll have a bad day if you've been doing it for 3 years. But just consistency is the idea, and you might get lucky.
So at the time we're recording this, you're sitting on 1.9 million TikTok followers.
Yeah.
So during this interview, we could tick over. If that happens, will your phone start like buzzing?
No. I turned that stuff off. Imagine that. Like, if you had TikTok notifications, because there's every like, right? It would just bing, 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 bing. Oh, yeah. No.
So if you're who's number 1 and 2?
I don't know who number 2 is, but I think, according to Louis Davis, he's the one that was telling me that he's number 1 at 240 mil likes or something.
Yeah. Okay, I've had him on the podcast. He was great.
You had Louis. Yeah.
Yeah, his content's very different to you. I do like that about TikTok, that number 1, 2, and 3. It's all very, you're not all doing the same sort of shtick.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And Louis like cross-disciplined. He kind of does family content, some rugby content, the Māori side of him. Yeah, there's heaps to it for him.
Even he's trying to get into the running game at the moment.
Yeah, he's
him and How to Dad.
Yeah, for real. He's kind of expressed that. Like, I'll just kind of do anything.
Yeah.
And he really wants to mimic my stuff. He's like, bro, I just really want to do that. It just doesn't work. I was like...
Yeah, so there's such a broad and diverse range of people that listen to this podcast or watch this podcast. So for anyone that's not familiar with Theo Shakes, how would you describe your content?
Great question. I'd describe my content as a peep and a look into humanity through impressions and situational comedy, and more recently, movie cliches and the characters we know and love that we didn't realize we knew and loved. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to unpacking that. I reckon I spent 5 hours yesterday watching Theo Shake clips.
Yeah, right.
Like, I've seen so much of your content. And it's genius. Yeah, it's cliches that are there, but you're not actually ripping off a specific movie. And they're all, right. You feel like you've seen it all in movies before. Mm-hmm. It's very clever. It's genius. So, and you've got a stand-up comedy show coming up too.
I do.
May 13 to 17 in Auckland. It's your debut comedy solo show, like a 1 hour show.
That's right. Judging by the look of things. It's my first hour, and it's probably like my 15th time doing stand-up. I'm very fresh to it, but I was encouraged to do it. And I think that's the power and creativity and artistry. If you can be the author of your work, the sooner the better, before too many cooks get in the pot. So it's allowing me to really hear my voice and see what things I want to talk about. And it's going to be a bunch of fun as well. It's going to be quite live and, I mean, of course it's live. It's a show, but it's going to be visceral in that things may go wrong. On purpose, though, as well. I'm always quite calculated. But I think this is the lesson as well. Me diving into an hour is going to be like, can I even do something like this? Let's see.
So what have you done so far in terms of stand-up comedy?
So I've kind of been gigging around Auckland quietly, not saying anything about it as well. And so I've done Poppies, which is out in South Auckland. Shout out Hedda Dawson. I've been doing some rooftop gigs. And there's been some amazing comedians kind of helping guide me through the space, like Joe Damon, Itai Dom. He's brilliant. And so kind of getting help from them. And then stuff at the Classic as well. So anything from like 8 to 12 minutes has been the most I've done. Yeah. And then I'm just like always jamming it with friends and family as well.
So why stand-up comedy? So you went to Toi Whakaari, so you're a trained actor, and now you're doing like basically acting on TikTok. So why stand-up comedy? Why not one or the other? Calm down, Jamie Foxx.
I know. I'm too away from that, you got. Honestly, why not is kind of the question. When you're in the arts, you cannot be a one-trick pony in New Zealand. So the idea is, how can you get amongst it and get stuck in and have a go? And then if you know you're not too bad at it, start studying up on it and seeing what you can do. But the biggest thing I learned after leaving drama school at the end of 2023 was, how do you get onto a stage? Okay. Well, there'll be. We can swear on here, right?
Absolutely.
There'll be fuck all auditions coming through. That's just the reality. I thought it would be like, there's fuck all jobs, there's fuck all auditions. So then it's like, okay, how can you get on stage? Stand up. That's actually the fastest way to get on stage, to be in front of an audience and to exchange something and test your writing. And that's the other thing too. I love writing, so it's just another chance to play with words and put them up in the space.
Oh, so reading between the lines, in a way, it's just you looking for opportunities to keep busy.
Exactly.
Get your 10,000 hours in.
Keep live. And then I do kind of understand the long game as well, and how these different disciplines can cross paths and intersect. And I'd love that to happen in a way that I could put multiple things in one show, or I could turn that into a series online. Like, this is all part of that bigger plan, I suppose.
Because your big plan, I don't know if this is still the case, but a previous podcast guest, Fraser Groot, who is doing...
Fraser's been on of course, yes.
So, friend of yours as well.
Yes.
And he's doing a project called 10,000 Dreams, where he's just going around and capturing people's dreams. You've done one with him, and you said your dream was to win an Oscar.
It was.
Yeah, still is?
No, it's not. It's not anymore.
Why is that?
Because I just think the whole Oscar... what was that, Honora? They spent 18 million getting it the visibility it needed to get Oscars. So just the whole thing about Oscars has changed for me, in that it's just one aspect of this industry. It's inspiring, the speech and what it does for a young actor. I still do get very juiced up when I go back and watch Viola Davis say hers or something. But at the same time, if anything, that Hollywood stuff is just, it's too, yuck. I get a bit, yuck. The closer you get to like those Hollywood, like when you work on a big set or you meet a big celebrity, I actually feel a little, ooh, and I just want to know the human side, and those things get in the way. That statue gets in the way. But Fraser's infected my mind with dreams, and he's made me think beautifully about them. And I constantly ask people the same question he'll ask, because I think it's just a great way to get to know people. And even if it is the Oscar, you can kind of keep going from there and be like, okay, why? Yeah.
Yeah, because the Oscar thing is funny. Because you look at, say, Tom Cruise, never won an Oscar in his life.
Yeah.
But you can't meet anyone that does not know who Tom Cruise is. Like one of the most successful actors of our generation.
Yeah, definitely.
What are some of the big movies or big people that you've worked with? Drop some names.
Yeah, sure. Elijah Wood was incredible. I got to work with him in a feature film last year called Bookworm. And that was really extraordinary. Like, he was just a lovely guy. I remember, like, spotting him on set. And there he was. I was like, oh, that's the guy. And he's like, hey, man, how are you? I was like, oh, yeah, I'm good, thanks. Awesome. And then disappeared. And I'm like, okay, God, all right, we're going to have to do this. This is my first ever scene in a film. And I'm facing opposite him. And then it was so interesting to see how he worked. Like, Yeah, I think we'll do a 2-shot. Like, he wasn't directing the film and he wasn't the DOP, but he understood exactly how, from like a bird's eye point of view, how a scene is made. And it is through doing Rings. It is through like doing incredibly big budget films where like once you scale it down, he understands the essentials and he's kind of even telling people, no, we've already gone over the shoulder. We've crossed the line, so we're fine. Go back, do that. And then acting opposite him was brilliant, and seeing what he'd do just before a take and just after, just those moments are really interesting, as well as being in the scene. And then at the end of the day, I got to really ask him some questions about what it's like to do this career. And he's like, yeah, man, I've been doing this since I was 7, and it's weird, but it's my life. And, fame's it's a funny thing. Just the most important thing, don't be an asshole. And I was like, okay, yeah. And I've met some assholes. I was like, so being around him was like a good, okay, that's, if anything, that's where you want to end up in terms of the mindset and the behavior as an actor or as someone who is fortunate enough to have that much responsibility. Be a good person. And it sounds obvious and easy, but I think if Hollywood can infect you, or, we were just talking about a rapper before, a lot can happen to you and you could lose yourself. So I'm very like, I've got a lot of grounding there. And Anna Scotney's another incredible actor. She's a brilliant Kiwi actress. And like, she's taught me a lot about what it means to stay true to who you are and hold yourself, and don't worry, bro. You're all good, bro. I was like, okay, thank you. Yeah, I am.
Just something from that Elijah Wood story is just how observant you are when it comes to people. It's actually making me fucking self-conscious right now.
Oh, no, please, no.
No, I mean, it's obvious. Like, it comes through in the stuff that you do on TikTok, but you're obviously just a deep observer of people, but also the way you flip into accents as well. By the way, can I just say, just an observation from my part, your accent is way more English than what I expected. You moved to New Zealand from... Oh, we'll get into your backstory later, but you moved here when you were 4?
That's correct.
From Sheffield.
Yeah, brilliant research, yes. Yeah.
So is this just from being, Jamaican dad, English mum?
Correct.
They moved here as adults, so I'm guessing their accents are still quite thick.
They are, very thick.
So when
There's nothing Kiwi about them in their voice.
But all your school education was here, so
that's right.
You'd think you would sort of chameleon it and make yourself as Kiwi as possible in order to fit in.
I rejected a lot of like the bros, the ch, the g. I just, especially like in terms of writing, when I'd make short films, I'm like, oh, it just sounds like corny because I want it to be Americanified. And then when I got to high school, or later on in high school, I started to embrace that a little more and understand that the lingo is actually dope. It's real cool. But so, yeah, maybe I just, that was always kind of a cool thing to be like. I wasn't born here, by the way, like growing up. It was kind of cool to flex that. And then now it's the other way. I'm like very proud to be part of this. And that I went back to England and realized, oh, I'm a complete foreigner there. That is a small percentage of my life. I can't speak to much of it. So this is home. But yeah, no, I didn't. Why I am good at accents is because I've been able to absorb so many different kinds of sounds growing up. And the kinds of people I'd hang out with were very diverse. So I was just exposed to that.
I think that potentially says a lot about your self-esteem or self-confidence, that you didn't feel the need to try and blend in.
Yeah, no, I didn't. Not from. That's a flex to say you're from the UK as a kid. I don't know about now. You ruined the country or whatever, but like as a kid, it was fun because people would just be like, I mean, if you're 8 years old and I was 4 when I came, that's half your life. They'd be like, wait, you lived in a whole nother place? Oh my God, Theo wasn't even from here. And they just try and imagine. I remember being 4 and mum and dad were like pointing to the map. They said, we're going to go there. I didn't even know what there was, but they said, it's always going to be sunny there compared to the UK. It's not always like, look we're in a little rain warning sitch right now. It's not the case. Yeah, but the thing, I mean, race is where that's where the self-conscious took. Yeah.
Got just looking there. Completely different.
Yeah, that's where I got up my points, my low self-esteem points.
Yeah, how was that? Did you experience much in the way of racism? Or?
It wasn't too. I have to say I've had it lucky. I think it's just feeling like an outsider. I think the kind of era I grew up in at school was pretty good. we also moved to New Zealand knowing it was more diverse in the schooling system, in that you have the Polynesian demographic, and just we're a very diverse kind of country, so you'll get a mix of whereas in the UK, it's like if you're black, there's certain, in the class system, there's clear pockets. And so it was pretty good, but the neighborhood I grew up in and I guess some of the schools I went to, I was just the only black. I was the only black guy. There was like one or two other Nigerians. Shout out Simon, and shout out Amani. Those were the only other two, and that was Amani and someone called Theo Shakes in the same class. That's badass. Amani was awesome. He always used to say this thing. He actually used to sing the Lion King theme. I don't know if he was trying to just be a complete walking stereotype, but he used to fully go, "Nah!" He used to do that for us, bro. And then the other thing he always used to say was, "Guys, I know what to do," and he just knew what to do. That was Amani, man. Amazing. So why did you end up in New Zealand? Why did your parents move? How many kids in the Shakes family? Just me and my sister. Okay, your sister older, younger? She's older. Okay. Yeah. So you're 4 years old. So do you remember much about the first 4 years? No, I've got a couple memories. One is like, it's always blurred because my dad filmed a lot of our childhood. So when you watch those, you're not sure what you really remember versus. So now it's very blurred. I was trying to bake a cake with my sister and I kept wanting to lick the spoon. Who gets to lick the spoon? That memory, I'm like, do I remember it? And just bawling my eye. But it's the videos, maybe. You're bawling your eyes out. Yeah. So clearly you didn't get to lick the spoon. I didn't get to lick the spoon. And then once I got it, I shut up. And my sister, that's not fair. But she was angry. So, yeah. I don't remember too much. Why did they move here? Why'd they move here? Yes, it's such a long way to move away from your family. It's such a long way to move. My dad always describes it in this beautiful way. This is the deep way first. Start deep. Is that growing up in London, grew up in London, the depth of field is so shit. It's grey on grey on grey on grey with a bit of brick, and then grey and grey and grey with some brick and grey. And when we first travelled to Aotearoa in 2002 for a holiday, he just came out to Tamaki Drive and looked across the water and was like, wow, look at the colour and the depth and how far you can see, and thought, we want to live here. And they wanted to just shake up their lives and get out of that kind of monotonous, however you say that word, life in the UK and see some colour, see some sunshine, and try something new. I think they're just daring people at that time. They were just really daring. And then as well, my mum had work here, which was great. There was a shortage, so we ticked all the boxes residency-wise. So we could come in. And then it was an opportunity for us, the schooling system. They weren't so keen on how we'd fit into that there. And they liked the idea of coming here and trying it here. But it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. What was their line of work? So Dad works in the industry as advertising and communications. And he's just one of those, verbs. You can't quite put them in one place. He just does things. Yeah. And then Mum is a psychologist. So they're still short on those. But clinical psychologist. Yeah. Wow. What's that like having a clinical psychologist mum? Everyone thinks she's reading my mind and stuff. Yeah. And that's where I get it from. No, she doesn't. She's never worked with kids as well. So that was the big thing as well. Like, that was different. I will say every now and then I'll be like, Mum, stop talking to me like a pet. Like sometimes there'll be a little more clarity. And I'm like, just get to the point. But no, she looks at niche things like dialysis. Kidney dialysis is what she helps people with, and the feelings you get from that, and the fears and the needles and anxieties. So that's so far removed from something like depression it's not as simple as that, or anxiety. I mean, she understands those things, but yeah. So. No, I wonder if that job, seeping into her parenting, had a part in making you more a better communicator, or a better. You know how that teenage boys, there's a tendency to just have one-word answers, two-word answers, say as little as possible, especially to your parents. Yes. Wonder if her job had a role in making you more. I think definitely on the basis of caution, always more caution, and then growing up, it's like, oh, relax. And the second I started flatting, I realized how cautious I was to everyone else's. Never leave the food out overnight. my friend does that and he'll take it to work the next day. So you have to put it in the fridge, bro. You have to. It'll be contaminated and the lid needs to go. So all of that. But Dad's a really great communicator and conversator that I've picked up that pace and that ability to kind of slip and slide through convos. Yeah.
When you told them after leaving school that you were going to go to drama school and spend 3 years getting a degree to become an actor, initial reaction?
Well, I first got into film school, so you kind of got to start there, which is
right.
even, I mean, in my opinion, like film school is what pathway after film school? I couldn't see it, and that was the problem. And it was only a year course, but during that course, I had to pitch a short film. And I acted out my pitch. And then I remembered that hit I got from high school performing. And I was like, whoa, I haven't done this in a while. I need to do it again. So then I thought about Toi Whakaari and auditioned there. And my parents were just completely on board. They've always been supportive of that. They believe in me, which is a powerful thing for parents to do because it makes you believe in yourself. And yeah, they were completely on board. And they're excited because they understand how committed and passionate and excited I get about it. And I was always that kid. Go away, present something. Go away, present something. So all I was going to do is go to drama school and present something, which would be exciting.
Yeah, because Toi Whakaari, amazing drama school. It's been going since like 1971 or something. I had a look online. So you're the graduation class of 2023?
Yeah.
And I counted, I think, like 20 people in your year. So that's a lot of people out there looking for work.
Yeah.
In a very, very, and getting narrower all the time industry. It's terrifying.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. It is. And I think what I do know is not everyone goes on to be an actor. Some because maybe they can't. Some because they don't want to. And some have just another interest. They're like, or, cross-discipline. So it kind of like, 5% might be acting. I'll take the audition if it comes on me or the advert or whatever, but a lot of people are interested in music. A lot of people are interested in kaupapa Māori. I've got a mate who ended up just studying some more. But yeah, I've always been about, okay, if we were told make work, then that's what I'm going to do if I'm not getting enough. And I've been fortunate to get a lot, but even so, I'm someone that wants a lot and wasn't getting as much as I thought I would, so wanted to create work, which is why I've written a play. And I don't know when this airs, but it's on next week at Basement Theatre. And part of that was like get people I know to get work. And so my mate Callum, who was in my class, we're doing it together as well. So trying to generate work for each other, for myself. And then, I think it's all about, our class was a great class, so we inspire each other. And so that's the goal, hopefully, as well. People switch back on because it's easy to fall out. It's not an easy profession, so it's easy to go, I don't know anymore. And the longer you're away from it, the scarier it gets to come back. So that's why doing stand-up's important, because it just means the muscles are sharp.
Yeah, you're constantly like sharpening that pencil, sharpening that knife. Yes, stand-up comedy and plays, they pay fuck all, right? You're not doing them. How do you, it must be terrifying. Like I've just set up this business recently and I've just been doing the podcast for 3 years. But before that, I got to like middle age, just having like a standard safe job my entire life. So I'm just freelancing now and it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
It's terrifying, but this is all you know, really.
Yeah.
How do you make your money?
Through social media.
Okay.
Through that advertising and integration of brands in an advert. And I think the powerful thing is, you're as I was saying before, the author of the work. So when brands come to you, you have a lot more control as well. And that's given me the ability to invest in other things like a play and do the side quests that I need to do as far as sharpening tools and stuff and reaching deeper in collaboration. But yeah, it's been incredible. I've been very fortunate and I've had some awesome brand opportunities. I've worked with some crazy brands. You get sent things you don't need and you're like, how can I give this to someone else as well? It's been very strange. It's been a strange life as well.
So surreal. Yes, so how does that work? Because I watched so much of your TikTok yesterday. By the way, during this interview, you'll probably click over to 2 million followers, which is, it's just baffling. It's a unfathomable number. But most of your content, like I couldn't see any sort of branding in there. You're not wearing T-shirts that say your New World or anything like that.
Yeah.
So where does the paid content come into that?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's give an example of a brand. Xbox is great because I work with them a lot. You get your advertising agency in the middle who communicates, but the client, Xbox, they've reached out, they want to do stuff with the creators, so they probably put out a call to 15 creators with the budget they've got. That gets divided up, and then I get a piece of the pie, and they come to me and they go, can you generate some ideas? And I really love to go hard, so I create a whole pitch deck, I put it in their color scheme. I like to make sure they're getting exactly what they need. And when you start doing that, you realize you're actually being the creative. You're doing the creative as well. And so you gift them with 2 pictures, sometimes 3. They select 2 if it's 2, and it goes out on both platforms if you've got Instagram, or maybe Facebook, 3. And for me, it's about integration. So if I was to do the manager character at a tech store, like a no leaming without saying no leaming, and I put on an accent, I've got the lanyard, then I'll be like, yeah, and over here we've got the Xbox here. It's a brand new Xbox. You can get that now, and it comes with these DVDs because that's what they need to sell. And when you play them, you actually get 30% off. So are you trying to buy that today, guys? And I'll do the American accent because most of the time these clients are American-based. So that's also why maybe they're not as recognizable too, because it's not like My Food Bag or New World. It's more something else. I mean,
like international brands.
Yeah, international brands. Which I mean, there's versions of it I've done. MLS, that was a cool one. So some don't end up on my platform; they can end up on their channels. So the Major League Football, that was really cool, just because I'm a football fan. And then what else? There's the streaming networks: Tubi, Max, Disney Plus. They love doing that. But I will say, I think things have changed in the last 3 years, in the last 2 years. And these agencies or these brands are starting to build their own profiles, and they're getting closer to the point where they might want to just do it themselves. So then what is in it for them to go to the creator? Is it influence? Following doesn't always equate to that now. We kind of know that in the way the algorithm works, people are drawn to your videos based on virality or the feed or the For You page or the reel. So to create a cult following is like that's a deep level. And I've also shied away from that too, because so that's also why I don't go, hey guys, I got sent this today. If people want to send me stuff, they can, but I've always been like, I'm not going to do that. If anything, I'll try and wear it in my videos and incorporate it, because it goes back to principles I learned from drama school, like craft and storytelling. How can you make like all of it part of this thing you're trying to do rather than selling out, I suppose. Although I say that with a grain of salt, I understand.
Oh, no, mate. I'm super inspired. Yeah. Like, you're working at a completely different level, aren't you?
Yeah,
I'll get sent a 6-pack of some shitty ginger beer that I don't even want to drink, and I'll be like, fuck, they've gone to the trouble of sending it to me. I'll take a photo, put it on my story, and tag them in.
Yeah. But I also, in my position, and I'm a bit younger, so maybe I fall to a bit more pressure of feeling self-conscious, but I don't want to be seen as the guy that's just getting it all for free, and like, that's not fair. And it just doesn't feel fair. Maybe I understand it. I understand why it comes to you, but I'm also like, oh, man, I don't know. I feel a bit. And that's where the tall poppy can get you as well. So I've figured out how to navigate not get. I literally don't get tall poppy.
Yet. Oh, mate, it's New Zealand. You just wait.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, What do you...
Because of the American accents and the stuff like that.
What do you know of tall poppy? It's definitely just like a Kiwi thing, Kiwi Australian thing.
Although, the more I delve into it with my mates and talk about it, and then you look at it online, the Brits feel it too in their own way. They just didn't have that. We rep that term really hard. But I think different country. The only country that really wouldn't face it is like America, because they're so confident in themselves, and they uplift, but they're more blunt, but they uplift. But yeah, look, it's a big problem in New Zealand because it's more hyper focused. We're a smaller nation, and you can really see someone pop up, and it's pretty bad in the music industry. I've heard here, and rugby, and people face it there. So, and then the arts, I think. I've found we're a little more supportive, but maybe if you don't know, they're talking shit about you. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's a strange phenomenon, eh? Like you build people. I suppose like America maybe has it to a degree. Like I'm thinking like Tiger Woods. Like everyone roots for Tiger Woods, and then as soon as there's some sort of scandal or whatever, people just want to drag him down.
Yeah.
I've heard in America it's called a similar sort of phenomenon called crabs in a bucket. If you see crabs in a bucket, when one crawls up and is about to get out, the others will grab the leg and pull him back down.
Yeah.
Similar sort of thing. It's so icky, though.
I do feel, I wonder in America, though, they're a bit more like if the crab's in the bucket, they'll go, and they'll take it down and they'll go, and they'll actually also grab the bucket. Whereas Kiwis, like the kind of thing we do is like, get down. But they're not a player. They're just watching from the outside. And that's like really sad. It's like you're meant to be the audience and or you're meant to be the fan, the supporter. You don't even have to be in the career path and you're wanting to do that. I feel like Americans are more like, it's my turn. And then they go and do it. I don't know though. Yeah.
So it's not something that you spend too much time thinking about?
No.
No, you can't let it hold you back, can you?
No, you can't let it hold you back. I would imagine it would get to me, but I'd find ways to navigate that, I guess, or avoid it or something.
Yeah. I mentioned you were coming in, and I got so many TikTok-related questions. So maybe we just focus in on this for a bit, and then we'll go back to the Theo Shakes story.
Sure.
Can you remember what your very first TikTok was?
It depends. The app was Musically at one time. So
Musically?
Yeah.
So it was called something else?
Yeah, it was called something else in 2016. And I didn't know that when I re-downloaded. No, the app just, I don't know, disappeared. And then when you download TikTok, you had all your Musically content from 2016. So I guess my first was like me going like, beep, beep, and like some sped up thing.
I think that's what I saw. April 18, 2016. Yeah.
Yo.
You were so young in it.
Cringe. Era.
Were you too young for Vine, or did you remember Vine?
I never had the thing, but like, yeah, I do remember Vine and YouTube. I've just binged YouTube compilations of Vine.
Like you would have been a Vine legend.
Yeah, Vine could have been pretty cool for me. Yeah. But at that time in my life, being that young, I loved long form. And 6 seconds felt, as a maker, I was like, how would you do something in 6 seconds? I did think that when I used to watch them. I'm like, how could... But a lot of the Vine content was often like accidental or goof, you know? I mean, it's hard to tell a story. And you can do it. You can do it.
Well, I believe that's how, I might have this wrong, but I believe that's how Shawn Mendes was discovered, which seems baffling to me because it's like a one line of a song, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so going back through your TikToks, 2019, you had 300,000 views on a 21 Pilots TikTok.
Yeah.
Was that the first sort of bit of success you had?
Yeah, that and maybe this other one where I had a little door underneath the stairs, and it was like Harry Potter kind of door, and Shrek's face was on it, mixed with Harry Potter, like deep fake Harry Potter, Shrek. That was, And
so
I
it's
guess
like 6 years ago. So you're what, 17?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And when I got to film school, a couple people went, hey, I recognize you, but I'm not sure where. And then a week later, it was a video you did like when I was in high school. I'm like, shit, really? Okay. But no, I was making stuff for fun though. I was making like sometimes through school.
But having that like taste of like virality, if that's what you want to call it, at that age and at that stage early on, like how did that feel?
It was just more like, whoa, what? Like, this is insane that many people, like, it grows so fast. I guess that was pretty, and then I remember, like, liking every single comment just because I felt like I had to. I don't know.
Connection with the fans.
Yeah. And then someone started commenting, why does he like everything? And I'd like that one too. I was pretty obsessed with liking. Yeah.
It's bad for your dopamine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then September 2021, there was one you did that got 1.5 million views. It's like a builder turns up to the house and mum and dad, must be after school, kids home, mum and dad aren't home. So the kid answers the door and has an interaction with the builder.
Yeah.
That was brilliant.
Yeah. That's real.
Was that your first like big one? Or have I got the time?
No, that's about right. I mean, there was probably one or two couple before that where it was manager impressions, and I was a movie theater manager, the main manager who comes in and does all the buttons and then, has passive aggression to the person working the till. But that was during a lockdown, and I was like sweet, I'll just do it again because I got nothing else to do tomorrow. So, yeah.
And from all the way back, it's never been like a Kiwi accent. Was that a deliberate thing?
I wanted to act, and I thought acting can be accent. I've always liked feeling a little further away from myself when I act in terms of that. Now I'm a little more, I bring it more in. But and then I thought it's just more ways of sharpening the technique. And then you realize you can reach further people if you go to the UK. And then if you change to American accent, you can reach even more Americans. And then you start working with American brands. And it opens up more in that way. But you don't want to throw away this beautiful place and everything you know about this place. So innately, all the ideas and the concepts were lived experiences from New Zealand. So the Kiwis could understand the content. But
it was kind of strategic from early on.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
because you probably know Tom Sainsbury and Chris Parker. They've done phenomenal stuff.
Brilliant.
But their stuff outside of New Zealand, I don't know how far it translates.
Yeah,
like it just captures
That's
the
true.
essence of being a New Zealander like perfectly.
Yes.
Same sort of thing as what you do to a degree.
Yeah.
But just very New Zealand centric. Whereas yours is sort of international.
But they've nailed that Kiwi humor, or maybe that's weak to say, but they've nailed that, and so they're so in touch with people here and the 50-year-old mums who love their content and stuff. But Tom Sainsbury, big inspiration, because he did all the 48-hour films when I was doing them as a kid, and they were the team that was always in our heat, and it was like, damn, you guys, you're so good, because we were under the same name alphabetically, and it was like, everyone loved their film, so it was, I loved it.
Yeah. Oh, and then you got to work with him on the New Zealand safety video.
Yeah. And I've occasionally been on like panels with him, and he's just he's one of the sharpest people even in that Air New Zealand, like, it was a behind the scenes thing. I was just like, wow, you're a player. Like you've got offer after offer after offer. This is really strong, and that felt really nice as an actor to receive that and then throw it back. Yeah, it was cool.
But if you're bouncing around like ideas or doing some blue sky thinking or whatever you want to call it, and you have an idea, but you think it might be a little bit niche New Zealandy, do you cast it aside, or do you think about, you know what I mean?
I don't know.
I can't think of an example, but
I just think everything could you just put an accent on it. It's likely, on God. Like what is it here? What is it? The traffic, the Auckland traffic's the cliche. Like LA's got crazy traffic. What kind of stores do we have in the world that what's like a Kiwi store? What's a Kiwi store that's uniquely Kiwi? The Warehouse, right?
Oh yeah,
the Warehouse. There's a version of that in the States. I can't remember what it's called.
Was it like Walmart or something?
Yeah,
like
I guess you could go Walmart, exactly. And then you'd either replace the word with Walmart, and we'd all know it's Warehouse as Kiwis, or you just call it a shop, store. And it works. It works that way. It does. Yeah. But I've done one or two, like during Te Wiki o Te Reo week, I'll just like chuck in something. So I did a Waiata last year because of all the stuff I learned at Toy. And that was they were like, oh, what, bro? I didn't realize you knew that. How do you know that song? Da, da, da. I kind of thought it's just fun one.
Yeah, it's an interesting strategy. And then there's like Taika Waititi, who's managed to sort of like inject sort of Kiwi humor into America.
That's right. Yeah.
Which is like a barrier that's just phenomenally difficult to break.
Yeah, definitely.
Someone wants to know, but how's your temperature? I can turn the air.
Oh, no, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
You're from the UK. This is you love
those
a bit
first
of
4 years, man. Oh, they were freezing out the womb.
UK summers are amazing, eh? They're phenomenal.
Yeah.
You go there in winter, it's bleak.
Yeah.
Hey, you're on the tube in the dark. You're on the tube home in the dark.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah.
Someone wants to know the moment you realised you were onto something.
Oh, wow, that's a great question.
Was there a moment? Like, was it? Yeah, like was it back at when?
Oh, I tell you when. Yeah, it was the first. In year 6, we had when you go to when you go to school camp, there's a talent quest night. It was like, I aced that. It was a really good show.
So year 6, so you're how old? Like 11, 12?
Yeah, 10 or 11.
Wow.
And just had a great character. Something happened. And then in the next year, I went to another school and did another school camp. And won that talent quest as well, the talent show. And I had a character called Joke Man Joe who had a big stomach. and he just pulled out jokes, one by one, plastic bags. And the thing is, that was dedication, because then I must have brought all those plastic bags to that camp to prepare. Like, I don't know. And then went to the high school and did another camp and won that town. I was like, take me to any school camp and I will win the talent quest, apparently.
Because most people, well, at least when I was at school, like at those, you have the camps with the talent quest, and it's like you get put in fucking groups or whatever, and you have to come up with something. It seems like you were like planning these things while everyone was getting excited about the school camp for the flying fox or whatever. You were planning your shtick.
It seemed like that. But it was the first time I kind of had a stage and could do something, because when you're in primary school, you don't quite have that. There's the school assembly you get to do once a year. That just made me shit bricks. So I don't know. And then I don't know. That last talent quest night feels like you've had a couple of drinks in you and you've eased down.
God, what school did you go to? First time you got recognised in the wild by a fan.
That was in a Macca's on just off Cuba Street, just off Courtney Place, actually. I was sat there eating dinner, and then a guy came on and knocked on the glass, and then I looked, and he was like, and he was trying to signal, and I was like, come in, and then we just shared dinner together and talked about life and what I was up to at that point. And then he took a photo, and then I asked him to send that photo because it'd be cool to get the first ever photo a fan's asked for.
Amazing. How long ago was that? When was that?
That was 2022, just September maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, or like a month or two after the content was blowing up.
That must have been gratifying then. And is it annoying now?
Not annoying. I've come to appreciate it a little more, but there's been moments where it'll happen in more frequently, and that gets a little overwhelmed. I want someone that prefers a little bit quiet, less. I'm always scared of having too much of an ego, so that's where the tall poppy might get me. Don't be too up yourself at any point or too proud about what you do. So the photos are just kind of like, yeah, sure, yeah, sure. Hey, yeah, you're always polite about it, But yeah, what was your question again? It was the moment.
The first time we got recognised in the wild by a fan, then you had the McDonald's story, and I'm like, I see something. I said, does it annoy you now? Because it must happen more and more frequently.
Yeah. No, I was thinking about the question before, the one around how did you know or something.
A moment you realised you were onto something.
Yeah, onto something. This is just kind of off that, in that when I've gone to concerts, that's like the biggest place you'll get recognised. Or festival is the biggest, because there's mass amounts of people your age, all a little bit drunk and tipsy. And there was a concert I saw, Rex Orange County, and I kind of got swarmed a little there. And then especially on the way out, I was swarmed, and I was like actually quite surprised by that. I'm like, oh damn. But during the show, I'm watching it, and I just have this feeling to myself, which is like, I'm not meant to be here anymore. I'm meant to be on the other side. Not that I'm Rex Orange County, I'm going to be selling out concerts, but I'm not meant to be in this space. This feels, but I also don't want to be in the VIP area. That's not me. That's not me. I want to be like everybody. I want to be here enjoying that. But both on the whatever point of view, I'm not meant to be there, but then also on the artistry, like I'm thinking about how he's crafting his show and staging it and how he's communicating with these people, because that's the role I've got now. How do I communicate with audiences? And so I think about it that far ahead. So that's also a point where I know I'm onto something, because I'm not meant to be the... Yeah.
How are you at respecting, your personal boundaries and stuff like that? Will you just say yes to everybody, or will you politely decline?
I've said no along the way.
You felt bad afterwards?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Felt really bad. But it's never been too bad. So I've tried to... That's one of the questions I asked Elijah, and he was like, you'll know. When you're with your family, you'll know. Something like that. But I think for the most part, I can see the nervousness in a kid, and I've sometimes seen them go like that. I'm like, oh my God, they're shaking up. Just, it's chill. Like, let's, I don't want. It's just I'm not that interesting.
Yeah, because for I mean, like an environment like a festival or a concert where people have you're taken some gear or they've been drinking, it's a different sort of environment. But if someone comes up to you like in a McDonald's or whatever, it's probably taking them a lot of courage.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know Keisha Castle Hughes at all?
Yeah, of course.
So I was on holiday with her and some friends once, and a girl at Newwood was like, "Oh my God, Keisha," the girl that was serving us. She was like, "Can I have a photo with you?" Keisha had like a mini argument with her, like, "Hey, look, I don't come up to you outside of work and ask for a photo." And at the time it took for Keisha to explain why she didn't want a photo, I was like, "You could have just had the photo."
Right. Yes.
But I suppose if you're at that sort of level, it must get annoying.
Yeah, definitely.
I've heard Israel Adesanya talk about this. Like he's really good with his boundaries now.
Yeah. I've heard about that, especially in the club or something. It's just you take one, you'll get swarmed. So don't take one. Just drop the line there. But I think the fear of saying no is that they think you're up yourself or something.
Yeah, they think you're a dick.
Yeah,
which is it's terrible. It's like even if you have a photo and you're polite but aloof, they'll be like, "Oh, that guy's he got a photo, but it wasn't very friendly."
He thinks he's fucking Leonardo DiCaprio to say no. He's not Leonardo DiCaprio.
So unless you go extra mile with them, it's a lose-lose situation in a way. Someone wants to know about celebrity DMs or comments or celebrity followers.
Yeah. Okay. Coco Golf. That was kind of cool. She left a comment.
Tennis player, tennis legend.
Player. Yeah.
What was the comment?
I can't remember. It was
you liked it, but then you like all the comments.
Yeah, exactly. Who else? Trisha Paytas was saying a lot of stuff.
Who's that?
Trisha Paytas. She's like a massive social media star, but she's just done a Broadway show. It's quite funny. So I guess there's a lot of, like, my girlfriend will be like, "No way, oh my God, this person." Will Smith followed me. That was kind of insane. Yeah.
What was the catalyst?
I did a riff on like kind of Bad Boys without saying it, and then he said, "I'm gonna pretend I didn't see this," as a joke, and then he followed
awesome.
me. Yeah, and I was like, "Damn, Will Smith. Whew, okay, relax." And he's only following like 45 people, and he's got 70, 80 million followers. So that feels a bit weird that he's watching the content potentially.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Is that pre-slap or post-slap?
Post-slap.
Wow. Oh, okay, not as cool.
Yeah.
The reputation was somewhat tarnished. What do you think about him now? He's still a legend, eh?
Yeah.
Still Will Smith.
He is. That's something I actually in drama school did this thing called verbatim theatre, which is taking, doing an interview and doing it word for word, for R for R, and I looked at what it would look like to do verbatim with videos and some famous moments in history, and I just tested it on the slap. I put it inside a kind of a theatre with the rest of the school watching, so they could kind of watch 360, and I watched that clip honestly like 1,000 times just to understand it culturally. I was like, what's going on? That as well why I feel a way about the Oscars. I'm like, it's too far removed. There's something about it. But yeah, so I did a whole Chris Rock impression, and my mate came up and slapped me on the face. But how does he go? Chris Rock has this great laughing. That was a good one. Okay. That's it. Wow. Will Smith just met the shit out of me. Okay. Yeah. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. Yeah, he's got that little laugh. I was looking at that very nichely. And Lupita Nyong'o in the back. Like, just everyone's moment and what it would look like to see it from here, from there, how it's televised. I just want to understand it. It's so weird. Still is weird. And Jada, I'm like, what is it? I don't know.
It is. I remember watching it live, and I thought it was like some planned sort of sketch in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it becomes apparent it's not. Like when Will's yelling out, like, keep your wife's name out of your mouth. Or whatever.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Oh, that's really good.
I do like Chris Rock, though, his special, and that joke he said about, like, I watch Emancipation just to see that nigga get whipped again. I was like, that's not bad. That's not bad, Chris. That's kind of crazy, right?
He did have a lot of time to prepare his comeback.
He did. He did.
I thought he handled the slap like a boss, though.
He did. That was incredible. That was
you'd be
incredible.
stunned.
Yeah. It's like, because there's embarrassment or shame that would hit you very quickly there in that moment. And
there'd be that moment where you think, I should, I'm humiliated now. I need to hit him back or do something else.
Or say something like, did we all just see that? But he kept it kind of, it's like he was tapped into his stand-up realm where he stayed in job with dignity. And it's been interesting to see how other comedians talk about how other people support the Smith side on it, and just how it kind of almost did divide the internet too. A slap and assault live on TV still divided the internet.
Yeah, and then Will Smith just like sitting back down and collecting the award. No one reacting. I noticed in this whole part of the conversation, like you've done Chris Rock, but you've been avoiding Will Smith. Are you scared he's going to come and slap you?
I ain't gonna get into that. He knows where to find me. He can DM me. Hey, I saw what you said.
Yeah, I see you.
You know.
Do you remember your very first brand deal?
Oh, yeah, I do. It was some housing thing, some real estate thing. Very random. I was trying to sell real estate in the UK, or a real estate app. Yeah.
Amazing. A UK one?
Yeah, wow. A UK one. Yeah, my first brand deal was a UK thing.
What is your planning and scheduling process? Yeah, your body work's huge, eh? Like scrolling through it yesterday, like every 2 to 3 days?
Yeah, every 2 days. So because I'm doing a play at the moment, I've got them all stacked as well. So they're in the drafts. There's about 5 or 6 of them in the drafts right now. So if I'm busy, I can post stuff. And yeah, I've just got reminders. That's where I write my content out in my reminders, because it reminds me. Yeah. Yeah.
So do you... Yeah, you must be incredibly disciplined. So do you have like a writing day per week?
No.
You just have an idea and you write it in the notes on your phone?
Yeah, and try to keep that organic as possible. The older I've gotten and the busier I've gotten, maybe there's at the moment like a day of the week I need to shoot them on. And that's also because I like having a camera person and a bit of movement in the shot now. It's like bringing all the things I've learnt from film school into play and making a cinematic little masterpiece in a organic, native platform where it has to look a little wanky. It does. And so does the creation process. It can't be full streamlined. Otherwise, then it would also feel like I'm doing it full time, which I don't want to feel like I'm doing content full time. I don't know.
Yeah, you do really well because you sort of get immersed in each little TikTok like it's its own little movie. Yeah, it's really clever how you do it. Like you sort of get, who's in it? So is most of it in your house, in your flatmates? Or?
Yeah, it was in my flat, most of it. So that's been really cool. I've got like a lifetime of memories to look at the flats I've been in, and the places I've filmed, and just go wow, because I'm very nostalgic about spaces I've lived in, and treat them as a playground to create. Every inch of the flat I was in, it just had been used. Yeah, it really had. Besides the other rooms. So
it's a drama flat? They're all like other...
Oh, no. The one I was in more recently is not. It's my high school mate and another person who works in IT. And then before that, it was at drama school, the drama mates.
Do your flatmates now not get annoyed with you?
No, because I'm also quite self-conscious about how I make it. I don't want to take up space, so I've always been like, look, I'm going to try and shoot stuff, but hey, you guys want the space, you want the space, it's fine. And then there'll be other moments where I might go, okay, this is my job, you're allowed to have permission and, say you need quiet or something, but people are pretty chill, yeah.
How much work goes into filming each clip? And they say in brackets, what's a fast clip, what's an average clip, what's a long clip?
Okay. A fast clip could be, 1 or 2 takes? Oh, sorry, are you talking about the length of the clip when you say fast?
Yeah, how much work goes into filming each clip?
Okay. So if I'm lucky, not if I'm lucky, if it just feels right, then it's like 1 or 2 takes. For the most part, I'm doing probably 30 takes for a TikTok. I don't know if it's a really bad day and I'm getting very specific and niche about it. It's 40. Yeah. And maybe not full takes, but like start again. We're just not quite hitting that. I do treat it like I take it quite seriously. And when I'm with certain people, I'll dumb myself down actually to pretend that like I don't take it seriously, because you don't want to look over the top about a TikTok, but I really love, where possible, symmetry and then broken symmetry. I like the amount of sound design I can put into a TikTok, and the music as well, being very specific about the styles of music I'm picking. And then the costumes, if I'm bringing other people in, what they're wearing, how we can execute their accents if they're not good at accents, and if they are good at accents, how can we specify it? And then the writing and the play, and just being natural as well. All the things I've learnt from doing drama school and getting gigs is just relaxing in your performance. You don't have to overperform. So.
Do you bin many ideas? You have a good idea and then you're like, oh, too hard basket, like in terms of sourcing the costumes and the props?
No. I tend not to. Most of the things I shoot I will post. I will post most of them. And not all the ideas I write I'll make, because they're just too, I need 6 people to make it for one idea. And I'm like, oh, that's a lot. And someone driving the car and then driving another car and then 2 of us in the car. It's like, oh, damn, there's too many people to ask. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I feel a bit,
extras.
Yeah, I feel a little like, ooh. I know there's young people that have reached out and asked if they want to be a part of it, and some I actually have brought on, and people who said, I'd love to shoot one. I was like, yeah, come shoot one then. And you could be the camera guy. And that's been really cool. Or a composer said, I'd love to compose some. So now we've been collaborating on some of them, which is really cool. And he's based in the States.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's another thing, which if you're just doom scrolling through TikTok, you may not even think about this, but yeah, the sound effects and the music and everything that goes in the background, a lot of thought. Yeah, you mentioned Louis Davis before, New Zealand's number one TikToker.
Yeah.
So when I had him on, he explained to me his most viral TikTok of him and his daughter opening a kinna.
Yeah, right, of course.
And he explained how, I'm going to get this wrong because I don't know anything about film stuff, but I think he was like shot on 4K or something, but then he did something to the color grading to make it look more phonish.
Right.
Yeah, do you how much work goes into your post-production?
I now, because of the world of the skits and the joke, the fact that they're movie cliches, I'll color grade them a little, partly for my own pleasure, but also to fit the kind of world it's in. Like, if it's a buddy cop thing, it's always oversaturated, bright LA colors, and if it's a action film like Mission Impossible, it's darker grays, warmer. So yeah, I like doing that. I like going there, but I don't shoot in 4K actually, just because of storage. I think I never hit the 4K thing, and I'm like, it's all right.
Yeah.
As long as I'm using the best kind of phone and always wiping the lens before, and Yeah.
Wow. How much work goes into the business side of being a TikTok star? I feel like you almost touched upon this before, where you talked about coming up with 3 props for the brand. It's quite a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, you asked of a lot, but it's also, hey, we're not working in a mine all day. It's all good. It's all good.
Not digging trenches.
Not digging trenches.
You have to say that, otherwise people will be like, "Oh, he's got a big head."
Exactly.
That's when they start.
Yeah. But it's also true. I'm like, this is my rule. Okay, you show up to work and you do it, and you work hard at it, and then when you're done, you're done. Like, if it only took an hour, it only took an hour, but you better work damn hard in that hour, and give as much as you can to it. And then if someone asks for notes and you could have to do a revision, you give them the best they can get, because I actually don't want to fail the brand. I really want it to work beyond making. The money's like one thing or whatever. It's actually about, like, can this work? Can it actually connect? Could it actually do that? Are they going to get their money's worth? Actually, like, I like thinking about those things, and how at the end of the day you could look back and be like, oh, that's actually a funny video. It's pretty cool.
Shit, you're really disciplined, eh?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough. Keisha Castle Hughes. I wonder what she thought when she was first doing that Whale Rider. Like,
she was so young.
She's so young. I know, absolutely. But man, she said, I saw her in a thing say, a little girl from GI who just ended up in Hollywood or something like that. And GI's like local for me too. And I just thought, but her performance is brilliant and it's very considered. And I think people do know what they're doing. They do know what they're doing. And in order to make great performances on screen, something like that takes a lot. And when you're a maker, if it's just going back to that, you can be the actor who gets roles and the actor who creates them as well. you've got to be a bit disciplined, because then you'll just talk and never walk the walk. And I always, if I don't want to be that guy to say, I'm going to do this and don't. I really want to do it. If I say I do it. So I'm careful with what I say too.
Yeah, but that example of like Keisha and the whale rider, so she was 11, 12 years old, whatever at the time. Yeah. And so for her, it was probably an opportunity to get 3 months out. I don't know what the backstory is.
Out of school, yeah.
But you're a dude in your early 20s. It'd be very easy for you to sleep in or skip a day if you couldn't be fucked or you had a big weekend or whatever. But it seems like you're very, very structured about the whole thing.
I get way too much guilt if I was sleeping in.
Where does that come from?
Because I'm afforded the luxury to have my own timeline. That's the thing. Self-employed, have your own hours, do it when you want. Self-employed, every hour is your work. So it's kind of like, that's the toss-up, but it's great because you can stop. If Dad wants to call and just talk life, you can stop. And he's the same. And he'll just stop and talk. And we'll just catch up about things and watch a Jacob Collier video this morning I was explaining to you and just, And now I'm absorbing something. I'm absorbing the arts and music and ways of doing things. But I can do that. I didn't have to get up and rush to work and join that time frame. I didn't have to. So that's like don't slack off too hard, mate. It's like you've got extra hours in the day. That's so you can work on the stand-up, work on the play, make these opportunities for yourself, and then eventually they start coming in. You don't have to generate all of them.
Yeah, once you get that momentum.
But in New Zealand, boy, you really do have to work hard, don't you?
Yeah. Someone wants to know, do you ever post and delete clips that aren't getting traction?
What do you mean, like internet? I can't even fathom the question.
Ever post and delete clips that aren't getting traction? So you post something, after an hour it's only got 50 likes.
And then remove it?
Yeah.
No, there's probably been one or two I've done that, and that is actually because the algorithms failed. Like it's got 50 views in the first hour would actually be a fault, and that has happened. And then you just have to repost it. That can happen. But no, I'll try and keep it up because I've also found they stay. They can do better. They didn't hit the wave.
Have a second life.
Yeah, they can have a second life for real. Yeah, and then also if I'm proud of it, it's before I hit post. It's like I'm proud of it. Boom. And if it's a clip that doesn't do well, but it's got great acting, some casting agent might see it and go, that was really cool. Because they don't care about numbers. They're like, how does this app work? But they got this video and they're like, oh, wow, that's brilliant. That's what I'm proud of. And that's what I want the world to see, if anything. So only 10 people have to see that.
I never thought of it that way. So for you, in a way, TikTok's like a LinkedIn page.
It is, yeah. I mean, these are the conversations I've been having with casting and acting coaches and people in the industry. It's like, this is the chance for us actors to put your work out there and to start to temperature and cater to the things you want. If you want to be in dramas, start posting content that's dramatic. If you want to be in comedies, post comedies. I've always wanted to be in a Mission Impossible type film, so I'm going to kind of make those at the moment because I really want to walk down a street and then slip into an alleyway and put on a suit and then throw it in the bin at the same time. I want to do that one day. Just that action. No.
You do heaps of that, eh? I
really love that. Traveling stuff, walking stuff. It's just...
Yeah, how many tuxedos? There's been a lot of tuxedo stuff recently, like James Bond at a party. How many tuxes do you have?
Just one. Just the one. And the neck is dirty as. The neck is just brown. It's so brown. It's disgusting.
Most new followers in a single day?
I don't know. I could definitely say like 30K.
Damn.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
It's after a big video. Yeah.
Do you work alone or do you bounce ideas off other creators?
Work alone. I like to concentrate because I actually think about it this way. People DM me all the time saying, how about you do this? And I used to reply to them. Sometimes I don't. I just can't keep up with it now. But I'll look at it. I'll go, you do it. It will work. It will work. The way social media is designed now is it could just hit that algorithm and that's a great idea. I don't need, I could do it, but, and also if I did it, they'd be like, I want the credit and and like, you wouldn't about me. You wouldn't do it. And it's like, I think it was your idea then. You could just do it. You just try and do it. And maybe they'll go, I'm not It's a lot who do message are like actors, or they're like people with small pages who are a little inspired. And it's like, I think you can do it. I don't know what's stopping you. But no, just in TikTok in particular, I think the turnover and the speed at which it happens, it doesn't need to be, and the way I'm doing it, it's not so much about conversation. But if I'm doing it in the room with people, like, and they're acting with it, I love their ideas. I love their take. I say, where do you want to be in the world? What kind of accent are you? I've asked some actors, like, are there any roles you're interested in? And I'll write an idea based on that.
It's amazing. Like this, geez, this like from a follower's perspective, like there's so much BTS that you'd never think about, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever got in trouble for taking the piss out of people? Apart from Will Smith.
Yeah, I have.
Have you?
Yeah.
Have you? But
You want me to go into it?
yeah. It's never.
Only
I
once.
watched so many of your clips. You say it's never really specific, is it?
Yeah. I've just once, just near the beginning, I was doing stuff around, a kid just playing a kid character, and then some of the neurodiverse community came out and said, like, one person was just like, you're mocking autistic people. It's like, I'm just playing a kid. And then I fought back and answered back, and then I realized, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. I should have just left it alone. And then I just got caught up in a little thread. But it's so small. That was kind of it. Yeah. I understand punching up and punching down, and I understand not going for people who, can't defend themselves as well. So
I listened to a podcast with Amy Schumer, and she talked about why she doesn't do roasts anymore. And she was like, yeah, there's punching up and punching down, but she goes, I just don't want to. She goes, I'm at a stage in life where I just don't want to punch anyone anymore.
Yeah, right.
She goes, I don't want to punch Justin Bieber just because I can.
Yeah, right.
I thought, oh, that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Because everyone has feelings, I guess. But yeah, do you read the comments, or do you take comments to heart? You can't keep up with all of them, obviously.
Yeah,
but...
no, I don't read comments as such. The only reason why I read them now is just because I want to know what clicks, like just what's clicking for them. Like, oh yeah, they did notice that little thing I hid in the back. Oh yeah, oh cool. And just see what the top kind of response is, because that does point me on the path for the next one. But no, I don't really indulge like deeply into them. No, and they're all pretty good.
Is there a lot of sort of little Easter eggy things in your clips?
Sometimes, yeah, I'll do some little things like that and see if anyone notices, or just the ways in which they're made, or the music I'm putting in the back. It's very...
Right, that must be so annoying when people don't notice it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You're going all these layers.
Yeah.
How do you handle negativity or hate online?
Yeah, so like I said, I've been really lucky to dodge that bullet. So I haven't really experienced it much, if at all. I'm trying to think of an example where it would have happened, and that neurodiverse was an example, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But how I would handle it is just not actually leave it alone. And that's what I would encourage others to do. Unless your content is strictly about talking about the politics of it all, I'd say you're just going to dig a deeper hole. Just keep to your craft, keep to what you do, and people will love it, people will hate it. But be a bit cautious that you're not saying awful things in what you're doing, Some people might have a valid reason for calling you out, but man, I just try and stay away from that stuff. And I'm glad I have, because I'm like, what? There's some people that just, want some drama, and I don't want the drama. I don't want the drama.
That's great advice, by the way. It's really cool. Seems like you've got a healthy relationship with with that sort of stuff. What's been the biggest personal challenge since going viral? Good
question. I suppose, just things around probably fame and just being cautious of that. Once you've got it.
In what way?
Just ending up losing privacy or something, or people talking about things that are just nothing to do with them. So that's why I'll keep a lot of things private anyway, and keep it narrative based. Doesn't have to, it's not, you don't need to know everything about my life. And just ending up in rooms I don't want to be in, or worlds I don't want to be in, and then never being able to get out of them. Because in the pursuit of this craft, you're going to be taken to heights you can't imagine, and just being questioning myself, like, is that where I want to go? And I do have the answers now along the way. I just more am cautious of it all the time. So that's been maybe the trickiest thing, actually. But it's not that.
What sort of room you don't want to be in? Like a Diddy freak-off party?
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. After watching Baby Reindeer when he went to Edinburgh and ended up taking that tab and then got raped, I just thought, as a young person in that sense, like someone who's early 20s, you could end up in a room and be really inspired by someone you love, and then the night go completely south without you even noticing, because it's all so much. It could, this industry can just show you another space that you're like, whoa, I didn't know that was, and then, whoa, I didn't know, whoa, hang on. And then my questions have always been, so is that really what this is all about? But I'm glad that that's not the case, and people have reminded me, no, there's good people out there, and I have found good people, and I don't believe that too. Yeah. And you attract that energy the more you live it or not cautious of it, you can attract it.
You have to be so cautious, it's a lot to think about.
Yeah, it is.
I heard Izzy on I think it was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he talked about having a fight in Miami, and then he didn't realize until afterwards, but Diddy's people had been trying to reach out to him. And he's like, in hindsight, it's a good thing I missed that DM.
Yeah.
You don't know how the night's going to end. Yeah. All right. Hey, thanks for being so open about all the TikTok stuff. It's fascinating insight into a world that very few of us know too much about. We talked a bit at the beginning about the early years and your backstory and stuff. So, November 2001, born in Sheffield, English Jamaican heritage. What's your link or connection to your roots? Have you been to Jamaica?
I haven't, no. I'd love to go.
So was your dad born in the UK?
He was born in London, in the UK. Bethnal Green, to be specific. And my grandparents came via the Windrush generation in the 50s, 60s. And I quite removed from that because of, there we go, England, and then we ended up here. But there's a bit of a Caribbean society here, and there's Black Creatives Aotearoa, which we're working on the play together at the moment, so you can be in touch in that sense. But to find like mixed kids who are also Jamaican and British is going to be like slim to none. So you kind of just adopt I loved Indian people growing up. They were my peeps. So like all my friends are Indian, like from primary school to high school. And then I got a Ukrainian mate, just a bunch of things. It's a mix. But then I also understand the white world because it's half of me. Yeah.
Yeah, and so much of your formative years have been in NZ. How would your parents describe you as a kid?
Creative, charming, probably, maybe a little bit of an attention seeker, probably, like dancing around the room.
You're doomed from the beginning.
But they also, Mum told the story of like a person who came to visit the house and recognized there was a talent in me and said he's potentially going to kind of do the arts or something, and they were right, I guess.
Yeah, were you ever into sports, or did you just...
I did. I mainly did sport growing up, not so much the art. I always did the arts in the weekends, so that would be like YouTube or making skits or building things. That was the creativity, make-believe play. But it was cricket and football. And cricket, okay, so here we go. Because cricket, me and my mates, we'd just mess around. We created a game within a game. So it would be, how many ways can you taunt the other team with the clever rhymes? Like send those wickets win cricket, a hat trick,
catches win matches.
Send those bales off to Wales. And we'd just come up with stuff like that and little signals like that meant spin, and just play our own games. And then when we are going to bat and you're starting to play hardball cricket, it can be like 6-hour days or whatever. And so only 2 need a bat, and then maybe the next 1 or 2 person has to stay around if they get out. And so the rest of us, as long as we were in the running order together, we'd fuck off, and wherever you played, there was always a bush around, and we'd go to the bush and be like doing Bear Grylls impressions and like pretending to survive in the bush. And then someone would go, "You're on next, Theo, get back," and you'd run back and play cricket.
Oh, yeah, I saw one of your TikToks yesterday, Bear Grylls.
Yeah.
What was it? If Bear Grylls was like a black dude. And, black dude.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was so good. What was the most trouble you got in as a young fella? You get in much trouble? Were you
Sneaky question. That's good. Okay, how do I talk about this? I'm aware of me and my life and the image and of who I am and how I present, that I never felt like there's a certain point where I'm very aware of the consequences if I fuck up. So I'm not going to do that to all my ability. But there were some times, of course, like very cheeky and try and play it where no one will notice. And
so you got away with things?
Yeah, I think I got away with things, but never too bad. I was always raised pretty well to understand like right and wrong and this and that. I got an after-school detention once. That was pretty cheeky. I stuck my hand up a vending machine at Parakai Hot Pools.
Was it a successful mission?
Well, we were all, we all got the treats. But then good old, I'm not going to name him, but good old this kid was like a big-ass snitch and got us all ratted out. And then, my mate and I were in the after-school detention, and his dad was in the army, and he picked us up because someone had to pick you up from school if it was after-school detention because you missed all the buses. It was like no one got after-school detentions at that point at that school. It was
so that was really bad.
Like that was technically really, really bad. Like you disrespected the school. You're wearing the school uniform. We were outside and look, was it that bad? No, looking at it now.
Back in Doritos.
It was the chocolate one that pushes the things, pushes the things back and forth.
Yeah.
Just get right up there, man. You can grab one.
It's a design flaw.
But the worst thing is they're all like expired, aren't they? So.
Oh, that's such a cool story. What a great thing to get in trouble for.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. Very lighthearted. But that was pretty good. It was pretty good, yeah.
Well, your parents must be proud.
Yeah, I think they are, of course.
Yeah. Are they getting a kick out of it?
Yeah, I think so. We love having conversations about it all and about, especially Dad, about the industry and how it all works and where it's going and why it's been this way and where did we come from. And then with Mum, she's just number one fan, as a mum is, oh, I love this and saw that tonight. And, that just brings her joy to see every little premiere of a thing I have. They love it. And they've always been supportive. I've got like endless love for them. I've moved back home right now because I'm in a transition period, and I'm in the house and I just see little things around the house. I'm like, that opportunity was created because of them. So was that. I have like so many people to thank along the way. I even went to the side story. I went to my old high school, and I ended up going to see their musical, and my drama teacher, he was the best, and he just came up to me and he said, "Oh wow, you're here. Wow, nice. You're going to want to see the stage today." And when the curtains opened for the play I'm doing called The Play That Gets Louder, I've got a poster, and it's like, a poster of my face, and they were just stuck on the stage as part of the set. And he'd put the play as almost as promo, but as well as set design. He put it up there, and all the kids ask, "Who's that guy? He went here, he did this." And I feel lucky to have had a teacher that supports you after you leave as well. And I like to go back to the kura and like help them as well and support them. I judged their talent quest and then voted my house to win.
It was biased. Not fair judging.
Yeah.
The system is rigged.
Yeah, exactly.
Many other mentors like that. It seems like your parents
parents, amazing. Sister, love sister. Though she's not in the arts, but she loves all the stuff I do. So Duncan, Alan, Rachel Larkham was amazing. Heather Timms from acting school, I thought she was amazing. And then there's been one or two practitioners along the way that have blown my mind, and I'm like, wow. They just have an aura to them when they walk in the space, and you just can't figure it out. You can't figure it out, and I love those people. They're the best in the room, not outside the room. They're different. They're different outside the room, but in the room, they're just so fascinating in their craft. It's like, wow. Some of the lessons and everything that comes out of their mouth and the way they walk and glide and the way they can share and teach things. So it's so fascinating.
What about normal jobs? Have you had any?
Yeah. I worked in a movie theater which is ironic, I guess. So, and that was really interesting. Mission Bay, Berkeley, Mission Bay, just like
Posh movie theater.
yeah, exactly, yeah, fully.
Like a bougie little
yeah.
boutique.
I had to learn how to make coffees, pour wine, open beers at 16. So I was like checking your ID, being like, "Are you old enough?" And I'm out here pouring a champagne. That was weird. And didn't know how to open the brutes, like in the caves, and they're like, "Do you want me to do it for you?" I was like, "Yeah, you want to do it for me?" Fuck. And then IDing people for like R18, and I'm out here 15, 16. Anyway, that was fun. I did the paper run for years. That was hard, like carrying all those things. So I started using a scooter. I worked in a fruit store. I did like strawberry picking, coached little kids playing football. Yeah, jobs here and there.
Awesome. And what about your inner circle? Who's in your inner circle, and how do they support you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got like one of my best homies, and I've known him since maybe year 10, because he came from Ukraine. So that's when he arrived in the country. And yeah, he's just been amazing, because he's polar opposite in terms of not in the arts, and he's so clever, so smart. I can't pick his brain. But he understands so much so quickly. And he learned how to assimilate so fast, as well as get above it and then lead as well. Another mate who we auditioned for Toy together without knowing it. We'd gone through high school together and then got in. And that was like really buzzy. Callum, my girlfriend, she's amazing. Yeah, I've got this group of people who have also supported the work and like supported what I do, and but we don't make a big thing of any of this life I'm doing, you know, and a lot of them are in the same career path, so this could be the situation for them too. But just keeping as normal as I can with them, because it's just we're mates, you know. It's just us.
And what about vulnerability and stuff like that? You good at having like serious conversations?
Yeah, I am.
Do you think that's a you thing, or is that like a generational thing, or are all your friends the same age? I'm talking to you like you're an alien.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, I'm 52. So I don't know how old your dad is. He's probably a similar age.
Yeah.
It just wasn't a thing here when I was the same age as you.
I still don't think it's a thing. I just think I'm someone that will pave that path and drive it towards other people, so that, like I was saying with Fraser, I'll ask people what's their dream, and they'll go, oh, damn, I've never been asked that, or something. And then we can get into another conversation that takes you down. Well, actually, you know, I grew up this way, and you know, the what school did you go to always triggers something. So yeah, I do have those conversations, and the writing I do is about those conversations that are hard to get to, and it's like, why is that? And when you're in the arts, you're that's all you do. You're like looking for that, and you're searching for that. So you're about depth. But then you're like very aware that the people who are meant to receive this art are not people who are in the arts. They're meant to be people who are just doing all sorts of things, working their 9-to-5s or industrial jobs. And so it's about connecting with those people and understanding where they're at and why they can't talk, but actually the ones that really feel the need to and can't. And I've encountered those kinds of people too. And yeah, it does happen on a dark night, middle of the night, or back in the day, sometimes it would be over PS4 calls, and you'd just end up there for too long. So that's how it worked when I was in high school, as well as parties and that whole drunk phase where it comes out. And then I had the whole lesson. I made a short film which was about like, can you say I love you without the alcohol, like without just being drunk? That's maybe where you learn to say it. I love you, bro. It's all good. But then without it, can you actually still do it? And you can. You just got to get there.
Yeah, it's harder, but you can get there. How's your mental health been?
It's been good. Yeah, it's been really good. I've had to learn a lot about where I am and my position of my career, and just that tells you a lot about how each day goes as well, because you got to kind of be on top of that. And so if I understand that, the day-by-days are really important to me, and I love having lots of good sleep. So thank you for asking. How about yourself?
It's good today. Yeah. I have moments. Yeah. It's like a constant sort of curve, but I've got better and better. to be honest, like at your age, it's not something that was even discussed or thought about. Like it just wasn't. It didn't sort of exist. It's only sort of something I suppose that's become a conversation like the last 10 or 15 years in New Zealand. So now I can see signs now, and I can see signs probably when I was your age, and I look back now and I go, oh, okay, I was fucking depressed. Like if I was snappy at people or I got angry at people, at the time I'd think I was justified because they stole my car park or they flipped me the bird in traffic or whatever. And I look back now and go, oh, okay, no, I was upset at that point because I was depressed.
Was there a person for you then that changed that, flipped the switch 10, 15 years ago, or a figure, or was it just in the air and everyone was starting to go?
Probably something I worked out myself, and And now I'm pretty good. I realise if it's not where it should be, and then I can course correct it. But it's an ongoing sort of thing. But it's an unreasonable expectation to be happy all the time as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you need the lows in life to appreciate the highs, eh?
Yeah, definitely. And like embracing the cry and the little down buzz and just kind of bathing in it sometimes, being like, you know what?
You're an actor. You're good at that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But then you get caught up in like trying to feel things. You got to be careful there as well. Just let it pass through you.
Yeah. What about biggest adversity? What would be the biggest adversity you've been through?
Well, the biggest stuff is the stuff I'd never say on here, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, cool. I respect that.
Yeah, because I think there are always things you're trying to figure out, as well as they're really private. And that goes back to that thing, protecting my privacy. But the kind of adversities that are out in the ether are probably just things about working hard and staying on top of that and making and really wanting to go there without getting in the way of other people, without bringing people down, and without taking up too much space. And with that comes some racial things, and some of it comes personality things, and just making sure you're not being too much when you're doing all of this, because it seems like a very me career, if we're talking career. But if we're talking life, I think, just think things that would be too, I'd need a...
not for podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, not for podcast now. Like, maybe if we have a conversation in 10 years' time, it'll be a different story, because often these adversities happen and there's enough daylight that passes that it's okay to talk about.
Yeah. And I do also know, when you're even on a platform like this sitting here today, I know the effects it can have when you speak out, when you talk about those things, but also I'm not going to sit here and be like, I figured it out and I know where I'm coming from and how to feel about it, because I think you still have to figure that out yourself. And it does take time to figure those sorts of things out. Yeah.
Bro, I'm still figuring shit out.
Yeah.
But I was... at your age, I was way more chaotic than what you are. Like, you seem to have your head screwed on the right way. Like, I'm just thinking, I've been in awe of the discipline you've got, like, to do the freelance stuff that you're doing and the way you do it. Like, it's seriously impressive. It's like a lot of people when they finish school and go to university, how, so it's like school, but suddenly if you miss a lecture, no one's going to call you out for it. You're your own boss.
Yeah.
Like, so if you skip a day, no one's going to know apart from you. So the fact that you're so diligent about it, it's really impressive, I think.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. I guess the only con that comes with it is embracing the messiness. That's the one tip I got at drama school from the drama teachers. They were like, you're so calculated and almost perfectionist about things. Just let it go a bit. You can fuck up and you can make mistakes. And then another teacher encouraged me as an acting technique to lean into the intellect of the heart. Okay, you're intellectual, you like to think things through, do that. And then, as they say, when you get to roll the camera and you call action or you do the thing, let it all go. Let it all go. See what happens. But I'm still learning to do that.
Yeah.
I like to know what happens.
And it's terrifying. Like, so you've grown up with the internet and social media.
Oh, yeah.
Does cancel culture, worry you? Does it keep you awake at night? The thought of a tweet you wrote when you were 16?
Oh, man. There's some stuff you could put, but I've left it up there because I'm also...
I think it's incredibly cruel when you see that happen.
Yeah.
The UK media in particular is savage with it.
Yeah, because I don't know where the line is on things too. And I was really young with some stuff on YouTube. If you want, you can go and find it now. But I think that's part of the learning, kind of being like, okay, I did that. I don't know. But there's never anything too far as well. I was always kind of aware of like, you can tell the context of which I might have made it, to be honest. That OG stuff. But cancelling, like, am I worried about it? No, not so much. I don't think. I know there's nothing that I've really done that could get me unless someone deep fakes me and figures out how to.
Oh, that's a good. Even if it is, you can say it's a deep fake.
Yeah, I'm more scared of that of being identity stolen or something. Yeah.
What would you say your best and worst habits are?
Oh, okay. Yeah, good question. Worst habit is apparently like I blink like really quickly.
Yeah, I haven't noticed that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, girlfriend says it a lot. She's like, whoa, you just did 10. You always do that. You do like 10 in a row. Scratch the back of my head here.
I feel like if there was an FBI body language expert, there's got to be something in there. Like, this guy's lying.
Yeah. I'm like very specific about driving. And like got to get to every place. I'll put Google Maps every time, even though I know the layout of Auckland, like the back of my hand. I just want to get there.
Oh, the fastest route?
Yeah, the fastest route. Even if that means like, like taking the weirdest route. Always and then it's a game. That whole driving's a complete game to me. It's like, what is he going to indicate? And then I'll put on Mission Impossible and turn it into a movie and drive it. Oh God, I've done that the other day. Going to rehearsals, I was like, I have to deliver the briefcase. It's in my boot, and I've got to get to,
Jeez, you're always on.
Best habit, though, constantly making. Constantly creating. And best habit, being over philosophical, actually. That's actually quite a fun thing, because it annoys some of my mates and friends, but I bet we wouldn't have those convos at all. So I don't mind. They just transpire into something. Maybe that's a worse habit as well, though. Shit.
And when was the last time you cried? Not like an acting cry, like an actual...
2 days ago.
Really?
Yeah, over my drama teacher that I was explaining. The work he's done at that school over the last 25 years is extraordinary. And it means that you get people like myself who get to do it as a profession. And I just was like... I was just so... moved by it. I don't know. It's just it is incredible, the kind of things
like gratitude tears.
Gratitude, yeah, those were gratitude tears. And then maybe a couple of days before running the play, it was like just the end of the play I'm doing, the stakes the character has to go through, just get me. I'm like, oh, that's sad. It's really sad. What's going on here?
Fuck, it must be nice to be that in touch with your emotions. Like, I don't think in my 20s I cried at all. I probably saw it as a badge of honour. Like, apart from funerals, I don't think I would have allowed myself the emotion of crying in my 20s.
Yeah.
I suppose if you're hanging out with a theatre crowd, maybe you're more open to expressing all sorts of emotions. Maybe it sort of unlocks something.
Yeah. I think I've like overcooked it to be like, it's cool. Like, it's cool too. Maybe. Come on, hurry up and cry.
Give me the wooden spoon or I'll cry.
Yeah. But other things would be more like the badge of honor, or, it would be like, you got to act a little cool if you're coming around a tough person. You got to dress just a little this and that. And not dress cool, but match the energy in a room. I'm very good at reading rooms, and then I want to match it and not be the sore thumb. And if I am the sore thumb, it's deliberate. It's not by accident.
What do you mean, the sore thumb?
Oh, the person that sticks out like a sore thumb.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, sorry, I really abbreviated that.
Right, but you can stick out like a sore thumb, and it doesn't have to be a bad thing, right? You could be the person that walks into a room and
yes, and that's
that
what I mean.
Sort of aura.
And I'm more like, I'll do that deliberately.
Okay.
And then or know I am and be like, fuck it. Yeah, I'm going to show them that. And then it's overcompensating trying to show them I'm the odd one out here. Otherwise, I'd try my best to blend in, because that's what growing up in high school was like. I got to fit in with all these peeps to match the world they're coming from, I guess, and just keep it equilibrium.
Yeah, it's good that you can play both those roles, for lack of a better term, because if you're blending in, then that allows you to watch other people and observe them, which is ultimately going to help your craft. If you're in a room and the room's revolving around you, then you're not furthering yourself, are you, creatively?
Yeah, exactly. And that comes with being mixed. I've always traced it back to being mixed because it's like Bob Marley was so big on unity in that famous moment where he brings the two hands together. And how many black Jamaicans were like, what are you doing? Don't do that. Leave them alone. And then how many white people were like, well, leave them alone. Why are they Aussie now?
Crikey.
Crikey. Do you see Verwin's son is in that Bond advert?
Robert,
yeah.
Oh, I got served that today with the snake.
Yeah, with the snake.
I didn't know that was Robert Irwin.
Yeah, that's Robert Irwin. That's Robert Irwin. Yeah,
Hell of a rig.
Yeah.
Crikey, look at those ads.
Crikey. Yeah.
Well, he's a good-looking rooster.
Yeah, he is.
Damn, son.
Yeah.
Your future goals. Where do you see yourself at 30, 40, 50? I mean, the social media thing, TikTok is such a fast-moving beast,
Yeah. I don't know where that goes. I'll just keep doing it until I find it boring. That's actually going to be the cop-out. And I think if I stop doing TikTok, I'd probably feel a bit weird. So that's why if it's in my power, I'll keep doing it. And if it got deleted or removed, maybe it would be like a sign to let it go. In terms of the career path, I'd love to be playing some awesome roles. I'd love to be a character actor like Gary Oldman or something. I'd love to be doing things where you wouldn't recognize me on the street because there's costume and there's makeup and there's specificity on movement and gesture.
Gary Oldman, has he Lamb and Slow Horses? Is that him? No.
I haven't seen Slow Horses shit, but he's probably that. He's probably the Lamb without even knowing it on his. I don't know. Gary Oldman's like Churchill. If you saw Churchill. He's in that massive suit. He's also Sirius Black in Harry Potter. Anyway, he's brilliant. And Robin Williams is another great actor. These people, I just like their career, their choices. Denzel, I like the kind of things they've gotten up to. Daniel Kaluuya's great. And so I kind of want to dip my toes in some comedy, dip my toes in some action, some thrillers. And I'd love to be able to keep writing, maybe direct one day, get back into directing. That's all on the horizon. And then when I'm 30, I'd love to have a family, some kids. Not at 30, but over that line at some point. I do not want to call out the day. I don't want to know the day. I don't want to know the day.
No, you can't. No. Yeah, well, it seems like you're on the right track. They're good guys. It's funny that you mentioned Robin Williams. Yeah, at the start I said, what are you doing with the stand-up comedy? Like, you sort of choose one. But there was a man that did it all. Yeah, one of the world's best stand-up comedians and also a phenomenal actor.
Brilliant. Yeah, he's just brilliant. And it's just such a shame. He's like one of the saddest celebrity deaths, as they say, because it's just like he gave so much. And that actor, what's his name? I can't remember his name, but he said he gave so much it had to go somewhere. And he was so quiet. And you just see him in his trailer and he's just deflated because he gave it everything. And not that I'm that or anything. I just find that inspiring that he did give so much. For the craft, for the world, for the laughs, for the kids with cancer, for the comedians. He gave a lot and kept going. I just even was listening to the Aladdin soundtrack and a song from it. And I thought, wow, just the dynamic vocal range. It's like he could have done music. Like he could have done a lot of musical theatre. Yeah, he's got it.
Yeah, crazy good actor. Yeah, you watch Good Will Hunting or something where he's doing a serious role, and it's just phenomenal. Yeah, and it's a shame to think that he was wearing such a mask.
I know. Yeah,
terrible.
Fighting through a lot.
I heard at the start we talked about how your goal previously has been to win an Oscar, and that's changed. I heard I think it was another podcast or maybe another dream with Fraser's 10,000 Dreams project that you were keen to work with Tyler the Creator.
Did I say that?
I think so.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
Was it Chance the Rapper?
No.
Someone with that as the middle name.
I would have said Tyler the Creator. Yeah.
Yeah, still or no?
I'm interested in him as an artist, but I've had my Tyler fan phase. It's not anymore. It's not as much there anymore. I'm not as much of a fan of musicians as I was as well. I like so many different genres, jazz, musicals, Cuban stuff. I get really niche, and so I can't fall into one thing. The closest you could get me is Kendrick Lamar, but I'm also like, I'm okay with being where I am, and like if I cross paths with them one day, I would love that. But someone like Donald Glover's amazing. I'd like to see how he works, and the way he cross disciplines in so many ways.
It's incredible. Yeah, are you interested in music at all for you?
It could be maybe a thing. That's like the ultimate fame problem, isn't it?
Can you sing?
Yeah, I can sing.
Yeah.
So, well, not amazingly, but I can sing, and so I'd love to do musical theatre again. That would be one way in. I love freestyle rapping, so I guess I can rap. I can't play an instrument. That's just where I'll be straight up, and I wish I could.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Got me there.
Shit. It's unfair that someone should have too much
exactly.
talent.
No, I really.
It's greedy.
But it annoys me because if I could learn an instrument, I would have been able to sing a little more and write music. Like I would have just been able to do that. And so.
Oh, if only.
If only.
Another life. 3 words that family or, say, your friends or your girlfriend would use to describe you.
Damn. It's their job, not mine. Passionate, creative, and thinker.
Yeah. One thing I love about this podcast is, it'll stay online. 5 years from now, you'll look back and it'll be interesting to see, where you are in 3 years, like compared to now. And whether because we've talked about the Oscar Award and Tyler, the Creator, whether those 3 words are the same in another 5 years. Or, they're great words. And I think they accurately sum up the person I've got to meet today.
Yeah, thank you. It's really interesting. There was a point in this 20 minutes ago where I realized, I'm not asking you questions. And I feel bad about that because I like when these are conversations, but it's because you have asked such good questions. And I've been on a lot of podcasts in the last 3 years, and this has been the best. I can feel it, and I can tell. And right now, sitting here, because I'm like, you've done your research, and you're curiously asking, and that just shows you're an OG in the game who really knows what you're doing. So I'm very grateful to have sat down and talked to you today, Dom. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Theo. Yeah, likewise, mate. Last one. Are you proud of yourself?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I look in the mirror and I'm like, yo, this is cool, man. Wow, shit, I'm doing the thing. And we only like 5% there. Yeah.
Fuck, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. That's such a non-Kiwi answer, but we need to reframe that. We need to smash that and reframe it. There's nothing wrong with being proud of yourself. It's bloody great.
Yeah, hard out.
Good for you. Hey, man, this has been so much fun.
Thank you. Thanks.
Best of luck for everything. I can't wait to see what's next.
Yes, and I should plug the dates of the comedy show. So 13th to the 17th at the Cellar Q Theatre. Come see it. Judging by the look of things, it'll be an hour. It'll be fun. It'll be different, and it'll be the freshest thing.
Don't worry, that's going to be at the front of the podcast as well.
Amazing. Be
in the show notes. Link in bio. Is that what you say?
Yeah. I actually still do that, and I got told off for doing it. So maybe I'm like one generation.
And link not in bio.
Link not in bio.
All right, Theo Shakes. Thanks, brother.
Cheers. Thank you.